name is Sister Catherine, and this is Heart Advice. It's our live mentorship experience for the week. And our topic is going to be distraction and prayer. So, as an opener, as we always do, we're going to have an experience or an exercise just of watchfulness, of awareness, of coming home to what really is happening within us. And that's so important, as we're going to see as we go forward. So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, or to look out the window wherever you are, or look at an image of Jesus or Mary, and just to settle a bit. Take a moment to settle. Our world is so fast, expectations and demands are so immense, and the need for speed in answering email and resolving problems and learning new programs and trying to keep up can make it more and more difficult for us just to come home. So just take a moment to check in. How am I feeling? What am I feeling? Am I feeling? Can I touch what's really happening inside me? And again, to ask that very simple question, but very profound, to yourself: what needs my compassion? What in me needs my compassion? And maybe someone's face will come into your imagination, or a word, or a memory, or an event. Whatever it is, just take that for what it is. And see if you can find a few adjectives to describe this thing that needs your compassion, or this person, or this situation that needs your compassion, or the place inside you that needs compassion. And if you had to choose colors to depict this place in you that needs compassion, what would those colors be? And if you had to choose a song that would kind of represent that experience that you're having of yourself, what would that song be? And this last question is a little funny, but if there was an animal that kind of personified that place in you that needs your compassion, is calling out for your gentleness and tenderness, what would that animal be? It seems like a funny question, but I found when I asked that of people, that the animal that comes to their mind kind of breaks out of their conscious experience of themselves or of a situation. So someone might say they're very angry, but when you ask about, like, so what's an animal that depicts that, they might say a bunny rabbit, and you're going like, okay. But that's a very profound answer that's showing you something. Or I'm very angry, but I feel like a dog with my head down and I'm being beaten and I can't raise my head, or I'm upset, but that little place inside of me is like like a little chipmunk. It's just looking around for something or someone for safety. It kind of helps you to get out of your head version of what's going on inside of you and let something else out that we can learn from and understand. So when we're talking about distraction in prayer, that's a really good point, because many times our distractions in prayer are because we are caught in our mental framework, our mental concept, our emotional concept of what we think is really happening and what we think life is really dishing out to us, or of who we really are. And when we're talking about distraction in prayer, we really are longing to see what's deeper in us than on the surface, where the distractions, very real distractions, may be disrupting the waters. It's like an ocean, a storm at the ocean. You're in a boat on the ocean in a storm. The surface of the storm is very rough, and so it can be a really hard ride, a very difficult time, violent on the top. But on the very depths of the ocean is peace and a silence and a beauty that's undisturbed by that storm. And so when we're talking about distractions in prayer, we're really talking about how do we disengage from the storm surface and drop down again, once again, to that place deep within us that is that place of peace and of presence and of beauty and joy. So, Divine Master Jesus, our Good Shepherd, we ask you that you who live within us, you who are the pearl of great price, you who are the place of peace and joy within our souls, attract us to you, free us from the surface storms, and give us joy and comfort once again. Amen. So, distractions in prayer. We can be distracted for many reasons, and in this time of Heart Advice, we're going to look at just 3. We can be distracted by worry, pain, and exhaustion. That's the first one. So there's probably a good reason to be distracted. If you're worrying about something that is worth worrying about, something's on the horizon, something unexpected has happened, the family unit is having a problem, our fortunes have changed, an illness has been found, diagnosed, physical pain, mental pain, pain in relationships, and exhaustion. We can just be so tired that we don't even have the spiritual, emotional, and mental wherewithal to pray deeply, to experience that depth of peace that we long for. And we can end up beating ourselves over the head saying, you should be praying like this. You should be able to connect with God. And yet, so much of our own reality is placing that out of our grasp right now. So we need to just let it be. Instead of trying to get rid of it so we can appear before God in the right way and really, really pray, we need to come before God just as we are, with all of our worries, all of our pain, all of our exhaustion. We need to be there as it is. We can also be distracted by our chattering mind. So some people call it our monkey mind. The mind is always running a commentary about everything. I can see someone, and before I can before I can even move, my mind just started a commentary. It's chattering away about why and when and where and how and everything else, and all my memories of that person and my fears about the future for that person. Really, I just saw the person, but our minds have a world of their own. And so they can't easily be at rest. That's kind of a habit that you learn. It's a depth of stillness that you can develop. But before you develop that, you can discover that you really do have a chattering mind. And discovering the chattering mind is the first step toward discovering that depth of peace and stillness that we long for, where we feel that connection with God. And lastly, we can be distracted by intense feelings of fear, of sadness, or of anger, or of anything. It could be jealousy. So these emotional reactions, or these, sometimes they can just kind of take over, and the intensity of them can also be way beyond the situation, what the situation calls for. And that in itself can come from a history of experiences. It can come from our personality. It can come from watching how other people react to situations and kind of developing a style that maybe isn't the best one for us and the best one for growth. There are many reasons. Well, we can be distracted mentally by worry and pain, mental exhaustion, by just our chattering mind, and also by intense feelings of our heart, feelings of fear, sadness, or anger. So I invite you just to take a second now and to, right here, what's going on inside of me when I try to connect with God, try to imagine Jesus. Can I see my thoughts? Can I be aware of my thoughts? Am I remembering things I should do or I didn't do, or memories of what people have done to me? Can I touch my heart, my feelings? Can I kind of sense a tension that I'm holding within me, or stress I might be holding within me somewhere, either a lot of stress or even a little stress? All of those things make it difficult for us to feel like we've connected with God. So when we started out our time looking at what needs our compassion, that in itself is a beautiful way to begin to pray. What in me is calling out for tenderness? And can I just be there gently with that space, with that issue, with that place within me that is hurt or wounded? And it's a first step, but it's an important step, because the more we try to get rid of our distractions, the more intense they're going to become and the more problematic. And in one sense, when we try to get rid of our distractions, we're kind of saying, I'm not good enough as I am with these distractions, so I need to get rid of them so that I can be over there, that person over there who prays, who isn't distracted, who feels close to God. But that may not be who I am today. That may not be the way I feel. That may not be my experience today. Today, I'm really worried, or I'm very angry, or I'm so tired I can't focus. And I can be that way with Jesus today. I often think about the story of the Good Shepherd and the runaway sheep. And I kind of sometimes think that I have a runaway sheep inside of me sometimes. And, that little lamb ran away for whatever reason. And the Good Shepherd went for I don't know how many days looking for that sheep. He didn't just go around the corner and see him under a shrub and say, oh, poor little pet, let me bring you back. They often had to leave all their 99 and walk for days looking for this sheep, which is a beautiful thing. If Jesus said he would walk for days to find that little runaway sheep, he's going to walk for days to find you and me. Just where we are, not with the 99 doing what we're supposed to be doing, but underneath the little tree, frightened or trying to run away even more, just as we are, Jesus finds us and loves us. So allow yourself to be seen by the Good Shepherd. Kind of picture yourself like that little runaway sheep, that little runaway lamb. And imagine when the Good Shepherd appeared, when Jesus appeared, and he looked down at that lamb, and the lamb looked up and saw the eyes of his shepherd and heard his name. In the same way, imagine Jesus coming up to you just as you feel and are. And imagine being seen by Jesus. That's our biggest desire, to be seen, to be heard, to be known. Comes up very gently and he calls your name. Hear Jesus say your name. And then tell Jesus how much you appreciate him finding you and him calling you by name. Tell him your gratitude and appreciation. So one big secret that we've learned, one tool, is to use our very distractions as a way of finding Jesus and a way of entering deeply into presence with the Lord. So as we close, we want to look also within ourselves gently to take on the voice of Jesus, the kindness and the tenderness of the Good Shepherd, and to be as good and tender and gentle with ourselves as Jesus is with us. Because if we are tender with ourselves, we will discover that we will be less tense, less tight. Our soul will be less agitated, less closed, trying to survive because we're there for ourselves. And we've discovered that God is there for us and in us and with us. I wish a good week to you.